Welcome back, everybody. Got a special guest with you all here today from the land of Hexaco, coming out of hibernation from the bear market. We've got Crypto Stylist with her beautiful
Hello.
Prada, rocking the outrage marketing, Richard Hart style. You guys might remember her. She's been around for a while, and yeah, everyone's coming out of their cave because the bear market's over. So welcome back, Crypto Stylist. It's been a long time.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been so long. I feel like it feels like an eternity. I actually went back and watched our last video, and watching it, I was like, gosh, that seems like years ago. Literally, it was
It
like at
does,
the
yeah.
outbreak of the war and like watching all that. And, so much has happened between now and then. But how have you been?
Been great. Can't complain. Nice pump on HEX, over the past 2 months. It's got everybody excited again, including me. Yeah, last time we talked was about the TikTok contest that we did. And it's kind of funny because, we were talking about, oh, well, people can just game this contest if they wanted to. And we were like, but that's not that bad of an idea, really, because if they want to pay money to advertise their TikTok, like that's fine. And so the winner of that contest was actually Money Gang Crypto, who went on to be a YouTuber and everything. So, I mean, I didn't realize that at first, but I'd call that a big success because not only did we just, promote HEX, but we got a whole YouTuber out of it. So shout out Money Gang Crypto.
He's doing well. He's doing really well. I've watched a few of his videos and he gets a lot of views, and he's doing a really good job. He has swag. So he carries himself well on screen. So I think he's doing really great.
Yeah. Always good to have some not cringe people joining us.
Not cringe.
We're not like those Bitcoiners, Nah, just kidding.
Congratulations on your stream last night with Axis. You guys had over 800 people. That's incredible.
I know. Well, if anything, it's also just a sign that there's more people in general just in the ecosystem now, because I mean, it was really just an average everyday stream, but 800 people, I guess people are just excited. Testnet V3 brought a lot of new faces. Clearly, there's a lot of people like that I've seen in the chats on Twitter that are obviously new because they're asking things like, when is the snapshot? And like stuff that just doesn't, it's just not right. So it's kind of a good chance to reset everybody and just remind everyone like what HEX is all about. Just back to the basics, because we start talking about these crazy, theoretical analytics and numbers and stuff, and it sounds like a foreign language to other people. So I like just dumbing it back down and taking it back to square one.
So, that's interesting that you say that, because I was actually just thinking, about, because we're streaming together and thinking about, my whole purpose that I started streaming was to onboard people. And, during this last year with the bear market and with all the crazy things that have happened that are crypto, FTX and et cetera, I haven't really been onboarding people because people are so scared of crypto right now. And they associate everything bad that's happened, Sam Bankman-Fried, they think is crypto, which is not crypto. I mean, it's a centralized exchange.
Nerdy,
they equate the whole of it, so their friends are saying that even are like, are you okay? or they're like avoiding me because they think that I'm like broke or something. I'm just like, no, the rule
you don't strike me as broke, I'll say that. Maybe it's the Prada, I don't know.
No, but you just don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And plus, a dip doesn't mean you're losing it. It just means it's a dip, and that's temporary. And that's the price you pay for such a high appreciating asset like that. But people just don't understand. But I think that what could be interesting, and the question I have you, the number one question I'm getting, because there are some people who are hearing about PulseChain and they're wondering, like, what is the best way, or how would you recommend to a no coiner if you're to a no coiner to get into the whole PulseChain system?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. It really depends who you're talking to. Typically for older people and people that understand traditional legacy finance, I go with it's like a CD, digital certificate of deposit, or a digital high yield savings account. These are vehicles that people are familiar with, but I mean, obviously in reality, it's nothing like that, but it's the closest thing that we have to make an analogy to in the real world today. So yeah, HEX is like a digital CD. You lock it up, it prints more HEX, when you unlock it. And if you don't lock it for as long as you said you were going to, then you're going to get penalized, just like you get penalized for pulling out of a CD early or pulling out of a 401k early. I pitch it just as a long-term financial vehicle built on the blockchain, just a decentralized cryptocurrency, kind of like Bitcoin. A lot of people have also heard of Bitcoin. So if they have heard of Bitcoin, it really also makes sense to consider it being like the next evolution of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin store value, it's been around for 13 years, maybe 14 years now. It's been, you could call it very successful, right? It went from 1 penny to $69,000. But, you know, the opportunity is also gone in terms of price appreciation potential. But now we know that cryptos can be a store of value because Bitcoin did it, and that's great. So we're just adding on to what Bitcoin already does, which Bitcoin stores value, HEX stores value. The only thing that HEX does that Bitcoin can't do is essentially paying you to time lock instead of paying you to pollute the environment with mining. Yeah, different strokes for different folks. It just depends, right? Like some people haven't even heard of Bitcoin, so you just have to be like, okay, this is a digital certificate of deposit. The goal of crypto is to replace legacy finance, to replace all the corrupt middlemen. And if we were replacing the corrupt middlemen, we need to start with, the number one most popular product at a bank, which is a savings account, maybe the second most popular product. And that happens to also be a multi-trillion-dollar market. So we've got a product market fit. It's been very successful for the past 3 years. I usually like to mention that it's never been hacked, 100% uptime. That's very important now because we see everything is getting destroyed. So people want to know, how do I know this is going to be safe? And you could just say, well, look, it stood the test of time. But if that's not enough for you, you've got 3 audits. You've got, you can read the code. It's on the blockchain, immutable, no backdoors. What more do you want, right? And then some people, there's always going to be some people that just aren't ready. And then, you don't want to waste your time with those people because there's 8 billion people in the world. So you're not going to get everybody.
Okay.
That's been hard for me too, because like I wish everybody saw things the same way I do. The world would be a better place.
It would take somebody years to get to where to sit in, like, have your perspective, because even from I've been in crypto now for just about 2 years, and my perspective now is so different than when I first came in. You just can't understand it until you live it and you go through it. Like now I've been through a bear market. Okay. If you told me what it was like to go through a bear market in the beginning, it was in the euphoria when HEX went from 17 cents to 55 cents. It was just pump after pump after pump after pump. And I thought, oh, this is how it goes in crypto. Wow, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden you're in this like crazy bear market. And
welcome to crypto, right? But now you're battle hardened. Now you understand the game. And then you've seen the price just rose back up to 12 cents. I mean, that was the price 2 years ago. Yeah. And it's just, then it also went up to 50 and down to 2. So yeah, it's crazy out there. But for people that are willing to stick it out for a couple of years, we're all going to be very rewarded. A lot of us have already been very rewarded.
Do you think, though, that's true? That is very true. And I very much believe in that. And you go through this phase, a little bit of, for me, my first bear market, where you're just kind of a little bit of that disbelief of like, have I literally just thrown all this money down the toilet? Like, is it really all going to, am I an idiot? Because everyone around me, no one around me will touch crypto. And I, put, a significant amount into it. And then, I had those moments where I was like, I've lost my mind and I've lost everything. You do have it. And then you're like, okay.
It'll test your faith. Yeah. I mean, it's impossible to shut off, right? It really is decentralized, but it will test your faith. I mean, I've lost 90% of my net worth multiple times. And the first time, I'd ask myself, either I'm going to get out or I'm going to stick it out and stay in the game. And I'm so happy that I continued to dollar cost average in 2017, because that just set me up for even more success in the 2021 cycle. And I mean, I did get wrecked, but we all did. And that's it's rinse repeat, right? I want to give a quick shout out to Hex Kong. Thank you so much for the tip. I'm sure your sticker's funny, but all it says is a hippo character. So thanks for the hippo character, bro. And also thanks for the thanks for the other tip. Thank you so much, HexCon. 555 Club. Yep, me too. 5555. Staked 15 years. For people that don't know, that's the maximum amount of time you can stake in Hex. And that's what all of us crazy Hexicans call it when you just launch a stake so far into the future because you literally believe in that Hex is going to be around 15 years from now, which sounds crazy to a lot of people, right?
It does, but I don't think, I believe in it. So more than I believe in my bank, like literally it's
that's the thing now. It's like, who can we trust, right? If I thought crypto is supposed to be the scammy thing, now it's the banks that are just failing. So how many more times does this need to happen before people just wake up and be like, oh, crypto is just easier. I can send you $1,000 worth of USDC if I wanted to right now. Don't have to ask for any approval from my bank. Don't have to worry about my limits. Don't have to worry about my bank shutting me off because, I'm sending money to a new person and they think I'm, I've gotten hacked or something. Like, thank you, bank, but I'm fine. Like, just let me have my money. And it turns out they actually don't hold any of your money. It's really crazy. I don't know if you've heard, but as of COVID in 2020, the reserve requirements for banks went from 10% to 0%. So when you put your money in a bank, they don't have to hold any of it at the bank in physical cash. So when even 1% of all people try to withdraw their money from the bank, that creates a bank run. Even just 1% of people trying to withdraw all at the same time, the banks have collapsed because they're not able to, make their depositors whole. And that's what just happened with Silvergate, Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank. It's a mess out there.
There's going to be more.
Oh yeah, what's the next one you think?
I don't know which one it is, but I know there's a list of like 132 banks that are supposed to fail.
I've heard rumors about Deutsche Bank maybe, but then they kind of had a little hiccup, and then I think they're okay for now. It just, all that matters is how much trust do people have in them, and it's getting less and less every day. So
I mean, it's good for crypto. It really is good for crypto. I think that the most urgent matter for us right now is we have an opportunity, because this is an alternative financial system that's, for the people, by the people. And I think that now, in this moment in time, people who are not into crypto are going to be more open than they would have been even 3 months ago, right? Because of what's happening, because they can't trust their banks. And so I think the issue is that we just need to figure out, and it's my kind of call to action for this community, because we build so many amazing things, is to continue to build things to reduce the friction to get your money in and out of the system, because it's still really complicated.
It sucks. Yeah, the user experience of crypto sucks. I mean, we have MetaMask wallets, so we just assume that everybody understands things on the level that we do. But it's all very scary for people. They're like, wait, this is my address. What are all these numbers and letters? Is this like my email address? And you're like, yeah, you can share this one, but you can't share your seed words. And they're like, seed words? What are these? Like, these are just 12 random words. And it's like, yeah, if you lose those, you'll literally lose all your money. And that usually scares people. It takes them aback a little bit. They're like, wait, what? Like, it's all brand new to them. So we just assume, because we've been around for so long, that maybe it doesn't suck as bad as it does. But no, crypto sucks too. It's just, what sucks worse? Banks, crypto. Right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to it, so I'm okay with it. But it's just to onboard people, or to, for mass adoption. I just feel like that's the biggest obstacle, is just making it a little bit easier to use. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I wish I did, because it would make me very, very wealthy. But I'm sure there's a lot of smart people in this community who are probably watching this stream right now who could come up with
PulseChain is going to help with that, right? I mean, one of the main issues is literally gas fees. Gas fees are one of the hardest barriers to entry, because why should I pay $20 if I want to just buy $50 worth of a token? Why should I pay $20 in gas? And why should I even need to buy a separate token? If I want to buy HEX, why do I have to hold Ethereum in my wallet, right? That the whole thing it's not ideal for people, right? And one day, yeah, we will move to like gasless transactions, and we'll abstract a lot of the BS away from people. But it's difficult right now. So that just means you're early, guys. That just means all the opportunity is still on the table. When it's easy to buy, all the gains are gone. So 10 years from now, you'll be thanking your previous self for getting in right now.
No, that is so true. You will definitely be thanking your previous self. So what do you think about Richard's new image?
I love it. I'm here for it. I mean, it's a change up, right? And it's like the haters are just, they can't say anything now. Like, they just don't know how to react. I've heard some ridiculous, I mean, the haters are going to reach for anything they can get their hands on, right? So they're like, the latest, crazy BS that I've heard was, oh, Richard is, he's going to get arrested. So he's trying to wipe his image clean and delete all mentions of crypto. I'm like, it still says hex.com in his bio. Like, he still talks about it all the time. Like, he's literally about to launch PulseChain. Like, I mean, they're making up stories. They're making up stories because they want him to fail so bad. They just can't get it through their head of what he did. And what did he do? He tripled his follower count in a bear market and wore goofy clothes. And now he's going humble mode, and he's selling all of his cars, donating them to charity, has a baby picture up on his profile pic. How can you hate that? it's like really, if you're hating on, this guy who's showing you his humble beginnings and all this stuff about literally came from kind of nothing, kind of not an affluent family. And he made a name for himself. He literally became rich, self-made millionaire, and is a tech entrepreneur. Why are you mad? Why are people mad about that? But they just, it's so confusing to people. They're just like, they didn't like the outrage marketing, and now they're just like, okay, outrage marketing's over, but they still want to hate, and they're just kind of like squirming around trying to make up some reason to continue to be angry. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I like it. I do. I think it's a good change. I just think that maybe for some people, it will take, who were so addicted to hating him and hating his outrage, that it's going to take them time to digest this new Richard, and also to really let it settle so that they really trust this is really him. He's a very authentic person, so he's very genuine. So, and we know that, but these people don't know that. So it could just look like another marketing ploy. And so, I mean, it's strategic. Don't get me wrong. I think it's all strategic, but I think it comes from a real place. And I think that what he represents is something that more people can relate to, which is the American dream. He's worked his ass off, and he wasn't handed anything. And he's probably one of the richest men in the world. And not only is he super wealthy, he is making change. He's changing the way we view money. He's changing the way challenging the whole financial system. He's challenging the fact that we're being robbed of our constitutional rights. He's challenging all those things publicly, and it's not an easy road to take. So I think that it's going to be easier for people to kind of, I guess, talk about his virtue with this new image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it does take courage to do what he's doing. And, he's just showing different aspects of himself. Richard's always liked Louis Vuitton and Prada. he just really leaned into that one aspect. But I mean, he's just shining a flashlight on a different area of his personality. Like these are all Richard Hart. These all versions of him are still him. People are like, oh, he's not being authentic. He's not being himself. It's like, no, that's all him. Just, you're looking at him from a different angle now. And to a degree, I mean, yes, it is strategic. I agree with you. I also kind of just think he got tired of it. Like it's got to be so soul sucking all the time to be outrage marketing and having everybody hate on you. I mean, he's taken a lot of bullets for all of us. And I mean, we've eaten a lot of shit for the community too, with the SEC and all that stuff. But Richard's taken a lot of it just on his own. Kind of carried the team on his back a little bit. So it's got to be tiring and draining to the spirit to just be like that all the time. And so it's probably a lot easier. I mean, like he says, right? You sacrifice connection for significance. So he went into trying to gain significance. Yes, it worked, but he alienated a lot of people. And now he's going back to trying to connect with people. And I think it's much easier to like it, just from my point of view, objectively, it's just easier to relate to that. Not everybody has Bentleys and all these crazy sports cars and $10,000 outfits, except maybe you.
No, I don't have $10,000 outfit. That's crazy. Don't make me the outrage marketer. I'm not an outrage marketer. I don't even.
You're doing good. You're picking up for Richard right where he left off.
Yeah, I carry the torch.
Yeah. He'd be proud.
Well, I mean, does make it easier to onboard though people. In my world with this new Richard, it's I think easier for them to trust. This person. Yeah. This new image. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So that's really good. So, okay. So we're leading up to PulseChain launch.
Yes.
How long do you think we have?
I feel it in the air.
How close? Close are we?
I think it could be any minute now, right? He just went ahead and said, hey guys, I'm not going to give you a warning. So he warned us that there will be no warning. And that's kind of crazy. But we were talking off stream about this, and you made a good point that that's probably because he doesn't want people to front run the whole price. And if he discreetly launched it and just said, hey guys, PulseChain launches in an hour, people would be so confused. They'd be caught with their pants down and they wouldn't know, like, is this a buy the rumor, sell the news? All the short-term traders would be confused. And it might end up leading them to just go ahead and buy the news rather than sell the news, right? Because if PulseChain is already out, they don't have anything to dump. They just have to have all these new coins to potentially buy. I don't know. Richard is always thinking 2 steps ahead. He's a game theory dude, and this might be just a game theory move on his end.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I think he's doing it to keep people from front running, because that was what we saw that happen even with the launch of the testnet V3. So there was a dump right after that. But I think there's a lot of things that we probably have to take into consideration. So you and I were talking in the green room about the Shanghai upgrade and about the fact that 15% of the Ethereum supply that's staked is going to be unstaked. Arguably, it's at the same time, but it won't all be unstaked at the same time. But but a lot of it will flood into the market, and a lot of people might dump. And so, what do you think that's going to do to the price of Ethereum and to the crypto market in general?
Yeah, people need to know this. So thanks for bringing that up. April 12th, guys, withdrawals are enabled on staking. Up until this point, you could stake your ETH, but you couldn't unstake it. So when people say they talk about the Shanghai update, that's basically enabling unstaking your ETH. And you also had a good point in the green room. It's like, what if there was a 15% of the HEX supply being, coming due on April 12th? Well, that'd be pretty bad, right? You'd be pretty scared in terms of the price, All we can really do is, I think, hope that HEX and Ethereum are decorrelated enough to not have to go down with the ship on the HEX and PulseChain side. And really, we don't have to. It's going to be an Ethereum dump. But here's a glass half full perspective. Maybe some of this Ethereum won't just be sold on the market, but now that people are feeling a little bit more bullish, quantitative easing is kind of back. Maybe they'll just use that ETH to buy other altcoins. So, yeah. I mean, this could be just a ratio shifting between ETH and then people flooding into other projects. Fingers crossed.
And when the news of the final date of the Shanghai upgrade came out, Ethereum jumped. The price went up a lot that day. So it's generally perceived as, I guess it's by the rumor, but it's generally perceived as a very positive thing. The upgrade is supposed to reduce the fees and make the system better. I don't know. That remains to be seen. But it is not only just about these coins. The Ethereum all going to be flooding into the market, but it's also about that it's an improvement to the network. So that could be a positive thing. But
and we need it to happen, though. We need it for PulseChain, because we're copying Ethereum. So it is progress. It is needed. You can't really just launch a blockchain and not have staking withdrawals enabled for. That's been the case with Ethereum for over a year now, I think. So people have had their Ethereum locked in there for a year. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are just begging to get rid of it in one form or another, whether that's cash or altcoins. But hey, we inherit that on the PulseChain side, so great. And so in a couple months, we'll have a fully functioning, up and running blockchain.
I know, it's so. I can't, just playing around the testnet. It's a little bit like Monopoly money because it's not real, but my God, there's so much action on there. People are really, really. I was on it within a couple of hours of them announcing it, and I was on there playing and trading, and some of the ratios were crazy. It was really. I don't know. No one can predict. Nobody can predict what's going to happen when it actually launches. But I think that no matter what, I don't care where I am or what time it is, I'm going to stop everything the second it launches, and I know that it launches. I'm going to play around with it.
Yeah, I'm worried it's going to launch when I'm traveling, and I'll have to book a one-way ticket home right away. But my strategy is just not do anything at all, because I've already sacrificed. Were you able to sacrifice?
That's how I got in. I got into the whole chain sacrifice.
Nice. Yeah, great. Yeah. And a lot of people are probably very jealous of you and I right now, because it was a short period of time. It was 2 weeks long, and so many more people got into PulseX than got into PulseChain. Sacrifice was longer.
I went way deeper into PulseX because I didn't have time to convert my money into crypto and whatever. I didn't know how to do it, so I was doing it on a Coinbase. You could only do a little bit at a time, and I got on the end of the windows. I didn't get a great rate, but who cares? I'm not going to be thinking about the rate when it goes up. In time, I think it'll go up a lot.
It might not ever go back down below those original sacrifice rates, whether or not you got it on day 1 or day 13. It doesn't. We're talking about tiny differences when 100x, 1000x is on the table. You're not going to be really worried about what if you got it at 0.0001 or 0.0004.
the last time that the first stream that we did together, Coffee, was you talked a lot about, or I asked you, and we had a deep discussion about layer 1 versus layer 2. And that's like the ultimate debate, between Pulse and PulseX, layer 1 versus layer 2. Has your view on, the opportunities in layer 1 versus layer 2 shifted in the last year? Like, do you feel like the layer 2 is presenting more and better opportunities? Because when we talked about it, it was still like all the top 10 coins or tokens were all layer 1, right? But I feel like it's also just due to time, because the layer 2s hadn't been in existence long enough to really amass enough of the economic energy to become into the top 10. Yeah. So I think that, there's a really interesting discussion, but I was wondering if your view.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people misuse layer 2 and like Polygon, for example, they pitch their network as a layer 2 and really it's just another layer 1. It's just another blockchain. They pitch themselves as a scaling solution for Ethereum, which, yes, it is a scaling solution. It's just scaling in the form of horizontal scaling. Like Richard says, if the McDonald's is full, you build another McDonald's. You don't, make the McDonald's itself bigger. Because Ethereum is bloated, and even Vitalik has mentioned, hey, guys, I think an interim solution before layer 2s get to the point where they're good enough to be used by everybody, we should just, kind of copy the blockchain. And that's what we're doing with PulseChain. That's what things like Optimism and Arbitrum are kind of doing. So they're not quite layer 2s. Layer 2s are kind of like side chains almost, where the hard part is that, you can do ZK rollups and stuff off chain, but all the existing smart contracts that live on layer 1s need to be copied over to the layer 2. I mean, right now it's easier to get things done from a user experience perspective on a layer 1 settlement layer, right? Like payment networks, Raiden or Lightning or whatever. Those will come along with time, but those are very application specific. So if you want to run functions on the HEX smart contract, it's got to live on a layer 1 blockchain right now. I'm not aware of anybody successfully copying the HEX smart contract onto any layer 2. And it's just also one more hurdle for people to figure out, okay, now how do I bridge over? What's the name of this layer 2? Do I need new software? They're not really there yet, So I think Richard's doing the strategically correct thing because he's focusing on what works now and what's the solution that we can have now. Not, let's just hope that the really smart cryptography guys fix everything in 5 or 10 years. And because they will eventually, but we just, that kind of progress takes a long time. And it might be technically available to do now, but really, really infeasible from like a user experience perspective. I don't know. I mean, I'm also not an expert. It
remains to be seen. It's too early, I think, is what you're saying. And I think, it's a bit of a, I think it'll be interesting to revisit the subject in a year, 2 years, and see how much things have developed. I mean, I think once PulseChain launches, I think that the progress and the things that will be built on top of it, it'll be so fascinating to see what
great, because
we're able to, doesn't.
Yeah, we're able to take what works and just make it better. And we're able to look at the history of Ethereum and just be like, okay, that project did really well, but it would be cool if it also did, XYZ. Let's just copy it and fork it onto PulseChain. And that's what a lot of people are already doing, Fiat, Famous, Liquid Loans. There's probably tons of other projects that I can't think of right now. It's just the best of the best. It's like the cream of the crop. Everything that doesn't suck, we're just going to take it, put it over here on PulseChain. It's going to be beautiful.
Isn't it? It's gorgeous. I love it. There's a lot of talk about, with PulseX and this buy and burn function, right? K4K talks about it a lot in his video, and it's kind of this really, I think, really important, an important part of the whole game theory with PulseX, right? Because 25% of the actual fees or something around that get burned. You get used to buy and burn more PulseX. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it works.
And so the question that I have is how much PulseX will actually get burned depends on what the volume of trading is each day on PulseX, right?
Absolutely.
And I just checked before this stream, and in the last 24 hours, trading volume for V3 Uniswap was 900 million. And in PancakeSwap was just about 100 million. So it's about 10% of what, a little over 10% of what Uniswap did. what kind of volume do you think we can expect in the beginning when PulseChain launches?
So I predict with my crystal ball that it's going to be very, very successful at launch. It's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of volume, but we still have to realize that you don't get to that Uniswap level overnight either. You know, they, like you said, they do almost $1 billion of daily volume. You probably wouldn't want to expect there to be $1 billion on day one of volume for PulseX. Now, maybe, you know, a couple hundred million, maybe. It's going to be very popular. It's going to be the, you know, the coolest game in town for a while. Everyone's going to be, you know, there's really nothing else interesting going on right now in crypto, especially when you consider the community, you know, all the fanatics and stuff. But it's going to take time to scale up. You know, things don't become an instant overnight success. And so all the people, this also goes along with people expecting the price to just to pump from day one.
Yeah.
But like you said, PulseX is a function of the volume, right? The buy and burn will scale up with time, but you know, with time, right? Not in the first month, and not in the first, maybe not even in the first year. You know, it's what volume did you say the so PancakeSwap was doing how much?
Just around 100 million.
100 million, yeah. So that's PancakeSwap, which is probably one of the second most successful dexes on another blockchain. So even if we could get to 100 million within a year of daily volume, I'd call that a huge success. You know, but I would say maybe expect in the tens of millions or something.
Yeah, in the beginning, I think so.
In the beginning.
We have more wallets just from sacrifice alone that we have the same number of wallets now. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like significant. It's the same as when PancakeSwap number had at 3 months in. So we're starting at like PancakeSwap's 3 month in terms if you just look at wallets of sacrifice.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I think we'll get there quickly. I think we'll get to the PancakeSwap numbers quickly. Uniswap, I think it might take a little while.
Yeah, I mean, Uniswap is the premier, most successful DEX of all time, but it would be great to even be a competitor in that ecosystem. You know, I could easily see PulseChain being number 2 after Ethereum, and Ethereum is kind of a whale party over there because it takes so much money to do stuff. You know, especially if you're using gas-intensive stuff, if you're minting NFTs, it's not necessarily user-friendly or inclusive for everybody. PulseChain will be like, you know, the everyday, the working man's blockchain. You know, it'll be like everybody can come because it only costs a penny to do stuff. Whereas, you know, people are paying $10 a transaction. That's just that's the whole reason PulseChain was invented. You know, it was to save HEX from high gas fees. And it just so happens that everybody else can also join in on the fun because it's an open, permissionless blockchain.
Yeah, it is. I think it's going to be so much more. It's more democratic, I think, because the fees are. Have you been on Ethereum lately? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. And I guess, I mean, I don't really know their attitude about that or why they're not. They have scaling solutions in progress, right? They're talking about sharding, which I hate saying that word. It sounds like sharding, but you know, it's on its way. It's in progress, but we saw how long ETH 2.0 took to come out, right? So we can't just rely on sharding to be coming around the corner as a scaling solution for Ethereum. And so we also don't want to rely on 5 or 6 developers to necessarily always have everybody's best interest at heart. Because really these 4 or 5 developers on the Ethereum team, they make a lot of design decisions that affect many, many smart contracts. Like we saw, you know, they decided to raise the S-load gas cost function, which priced out a lot of HEX users that wanted to end their stakes, but were paying $100 or $200 in gas to end, you know, a $500 stake. And that wasn't isolated to HEX. That was a lot of different people. So part of HEX or part of PulseChain is having this walled garden ecosystem where Richard and his team can control the variables that matter the most. Like we just saw with, you know, the gas costs. Richard actually admitted, he's like, whoa, guys, the gas is actually too cheap. We need to make this a little more expensive. The user's not going to notice it. Even if we 1,000x the gas price, the user's not going to notice it at all. They're still paying less than a penny, but now the validators can actually be profitable, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I actually did the updates on the what do you call it? The
GitHub.
coding. Yeah. The
Yeah,
Git.
yeah.
I get
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I don't have any idea what it means. I read it. I'm like, I honestly, I don't know why I'm getting. I read it and I really try to understand it. I don't understand it.
I know.
But I do
I love how
understand
many just regular people are now looking at code though. Like how many people, when in history has this many like regular people been interested in like code and something so technical, right? Hexo just made a stream the other day because there was a new file added to the GitHub or GitLab, I guess. And the file was titled prepare stable release. And so it's like, okay, we're really fucking close. I have no idea what prepare stable release does. I don't know what this file does. I don't even know if it's talking about PulseChain release, but everyone's all hyped up on it just because, you know, they're watching the GitHub, you know, Havid and KDP, they're always just watching it like a hawk, and they're going to update you the second that something happens on GitHub. Even though myself included, I have no idea what it means. So
I know. I know it did not. I bet this is the first time in history that this large number of like plebs have been looking at code and trying to understand it.
Yeah,
because it's such a niche, but
yeah,
it's fascinating.
yeah.
I just like knowing that there's updates because that means that there's activity. That's why I like getting the updates, even though I can't understand it at all. But,
yeah, they're working. I know people like to make up these imaginary fan fiction narratives and say, oh, you know, I heard Richard's developers quit. I heard Richard's developers like, you know, aren't getting paid anymore. Richard's, you know, under investigation. Like Richard's going to jail. They just make stuff up. It's just not true at all. Like, look, he just updated the GitHub 2 hours ago. Like what? Man, people just need something to tell themselves to help them sleep at night, you know, to basically just, you know, comfort them that they, as to why they didn't get involved in the ecosystem, right? They'll just make up these, oh, well, it's all going to zero. Richard's going to dump on you. It's like, it's been up for 3 years.
People still are saying that. I'm like, honestly, you really need to come up with some new material.
I know. It's like, you can still just join the winning team. Just come on over. We're not mad at you. Maybe just say you're sorry and come on over and join. Like, that's totally fine. Like, you can still make money here. You can still win. But no,
well, it's exciting that not so many, but that now some of the mainstream influencers are embracing Hex. Like, is it BitBoy? Yeah, BitBoy and Ivan on Tech has been
Ivan
saying.
on Tech is my favorite now. Like, he's my new favorite.
He's really cool. And then the kid Crypto Mason on the TikTok guy, he was like, Hex is 1,000% a scam, and now he's apologized to Richard, and he's all for Hex and Pulse and PulseChain and PulseX. I mean, and so that's really good, and he gets a lot of views, and that's super important because that's going to move the needle for us.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice to see that people are just waking up and they don't want to lose out. They don't want to miss out. It's as simple as that. They saw everybody getting rich with Hex, and this is their opportunity to kind of restart and say, well, maybe Hex isn't so bad. And I do respect it when people apologize. Like Mason literally just said, okay, I changed my stance from negative to neutral, I guess. Some people still don't want to take that leap and say like that they like Hex or that they own Hex, even though, you know, they probably do.
Oh, 100%. They're just trying to like do it on a gradient, you know, they just can't get so far the way their followers won't, you know, go with it to take them on the journey. So this is the gradient. That's what it is, you know.
Yep. They can't just flip overnight because
because then they look stupid. So they don't want to look stupid. And I understand. I respect that. I totally respect.
You nailed it. I mean, that's what people do. BitBoy is like, oh yeah, we're thinking about maybe adding a couple, you know, Hex into our portfolio. It's like, BitBoy, I bet you already own some fucking Hex.
It's like, BitBoy, you're a whale and you know it.
You sacrificed for PulseChain. You're like, you know,
at least a shark. Come on. Yeah. I mean, I think that we just need more and more and more of that so this can go. But you're the biggest streamer in our community. You have a lot of subscribers.
Yeah, I guess I've got like 28K now.
Yeah, you should guys pretty soon. Yeah.
Click that button, guys. Click that little subscribe button.
That's really good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it just right place at the right time, really. I mean, all of us, it's never been easier to become a content creator if you're in the Hex community. I know guys, Cryptographics, right? He was one of them, started off and got 10K subs within like under 6 months. It's like, I don't know where else that can really happen. What other niche can you get that many followers so quickly if you're relatively good at what you do?
But you
I'm not
have to
even,
be good. Like,
I mean,
he's really good. His
yeah,
content's immaculate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like his microphone is, he has really good background. And I mean,
yeah,
you
but like,
guys, is the best when the cream rises to the top. That's just how it goes.
yeah, but
So.
it's really not that hard, guys. If anyone's thinking about it, this mic is a little overkill. You can get a mic even cheaper than this. This was $400. This Rode little guy over here, $100. Makes your voice sound smooth and buttery, and delicious, and
I
everyone's gonna
have
like you.
that mic. I
You
have
do?
that mic, and I didn't buy the things to connect it. You have to buy something because it's so strong. So
Oh, really?
yeah, and so you had to buy something, and I didn't buy the other piece, but I
Wait, I
have the
thought this
mic.
is a USB. I mean, I just plug it in and it works.
You just plug it in. Oh, maybe it's a different. It's not the
Oh,
Shure.
you're talking. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one you have to buy what's it called? It's like a voltage. I've got
Yeah.
it right here. It just
Yeah,
adjusts the
exactly.
voltage.
You had to
Yeah.
buy that, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And so I just like, "Okay," and then I was taking a break anyway, but I have the microphone. I might give it away.
Hmm.
The streamer.
Give a new giveaway, maybe.
Yeah, but giveaway. I'll give it to you to give away
Sure.
because I don't
Gladly.
really stream them.
Gladly.
I mean, I'll stream as a guest, but I'm not really
Yeah,
streaming
yeah. Well, I'm
anymore.
glad you're back in in the ecosystem. I know the SEC kind of shook a lot of people, but the fact that you're still here speaks volumes. It's not
Yeah,
easy. It's that's a lot of fun. So, how did you handle that whole situation? Do you mind if I bring that up, like the whole
oh, no,
SEC
that's
thing?
fine. Um, I had a feeling it would probably happen just because they're probably looking because it happened through Twitter and Richard follows me.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
so they probably track, and also he's shilled a bunch of my videos. So it probably just looks like, oh, I'm his paid person or whatever. I don't know. And so,
yeah.
and if you watch a stream, I talk about the fact that we're friends, which we are. And so they're probably like, oh, she's getting paid, you know? So thanks,
You have a
Alex.
fan in the chat.
um, but it I called you. You were actually the first person I called. And
Yeah, I remember that
it didn't
because
feel good. It didn't feel good. Oh, thank you, Sandy Beach. I miss you too. It didn't feel good to get that, but cryptographics, he's the best.
just talking
Um,
about you.
yeah, no, we're just talking about him. But I'm not worried about it anymore. Honestly, I haven't done anything wrong. It's
Yep.
like I really haven't done anything wrong, so I've never accepted anything from anyone. And so, I mean, I guess if they want to check all my wallets or all my taxes, I live life within the box. You know, I
Yeah,
don't venture out and do weird things. So
yeah.
I'm not
We
that
all.
worried about it. But it felt awful at the time. I had to be
I was
completely.
furious at the time, yeah, because I was just
Yeah.
like, all these innocent people, including myself, and we're just trying to educate. How could they possibly go after us, the small fish, when there's literally, Sam Bankman-Fried literally just scammed everyone for $10 billion, and you're gonna pick 60 little YouTubers slash Twitter accounts, and it almost seemed to be random. But you're right, it might have just been they think there's a relation because Richard actually knows you and likes you, but it's not like he's paying us. And I've met Richard, I like him, we talk, but we're not making closet deals or anything. This is a labor of
Yeah.
love for all of us. So
Yeah.
anyway, water under the bridge now. I believe that the dust has settled. I've gotten several legal opinions, and everyone kind of thinks that it's just an overreach, phishing attempt, and without a court. And there's also the blockchain legal defense fund. So thank you,
Yeah.
Richard, or whoever set that up, because people now can get legal help without having to pay out of their own pocket, which is bullshit, right? For a lot of people that are just trying to live their life, to have to go ahead and pay like $2,000 for a lawyer to respond to a letter to say that they're not doing anything wrong. It's just like you have to prove your innocence. That's why it was so BS. Like they're assuming you're guilty of something, so it's like prove that you're innocent. But they're just trying to bully people. And I think now that they've realized that there's no money to get here, there's nobody to sue, because they're suing everybody nowadays. It's kind of like almost refreshing, because every day I wake up and there's a new news article about the SEC sues Logan Paul or Tom Brady, or like they're just suing everybody they can because they're trying to increase their war chest. They want to target centralized entities. They sued Kraken for $30 million. You can't sue Hex Incorporated. There is no Hex company, right? There's no, and if you want to sue these small little fish, it's like, okay, you're going to sue me for what? Like my LLC made like, not that much money last year. You're not really going to, it's going to be more trouble than it's worth for you to come after us little people.
Yeah, they're not going to really get a lot if they come after me. I mean, it's just not, you know. So it's like, by all means,
legally they can't, right? Like they're looking for paid promotion, I think, and undisclosed paid promotion, and they're not going to find it here because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. I think that maybe there was probably pressure to look like they were waging a war on crypto because of what happened with, you know, Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and all the others, because they needed some to just show that they were taking some action. And maybe it looked like, because we are so passionate, that, gosh, who would ever work so hard to stream all the time and,
Right.
you know, really put so much energy into it unless they're getting paid, because they just don't understand that we actually, it's because we believe in this so much. And I just think that's hard to understand unless you're in it. So
yeah, and we've paid
I just try to
ourselves.
see it from that point of view, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They got to save face. It does not look good for Gary Gensler right now. He, you know, with his ties to Sam Bankman-Fried, and particularly his parents, you know, how they went to MIT together, and dirty crony capitalism at its finest. And it's pretty evident, right? So they're trying to save face. They're going after everybody under the sun, and it almost diminishes their importance, right? It's like, if you're trying to sue everybody, you know, nobody's really going to take you seriously. And now Gary Gensler has to talk today. I think he goes to talk in front of Congress. I don't know. There's a news article about it. Gary Gensler scheduled to appear before House Financial Services Committee. So I don't know if they're going to try to make him look good or if they're going to grill him, but you know, he's on the chopping block, right? He should really be fired. He's done nothing to protect investors, quote unquote. Meanwhile, you know, all these banking stocks are going to zero. It looks literally like rug pulls. You know, where was the SEC to protect those investors? That, you know, things get rugged all the time. So yeah, they're making crypto the boogeyman because they feel like they don't have control over it anymore. After FTX, that was going to be, Sam Bankman-Fried was like their little golden boy. And that was how they were going to feel like they could kind of corner the ecosystem. They're like, okay, well, if we let FTX slide, you know, we can do our money laundering or whatever we want to do through here. We can track everybody. We can shut everybody out that we want to. And so that, you know, but now they feel like they don't have control. And that's really why people hate crypto, from a regulatory standpoint. It's a fear of not having control. And from a retail standpoint, they're just jealous. You know, they just hate us because they ain't us. You know, they're like, how could all these people be making so much money when I'm going to my job 9 to 5 and working so hard and, you know, losing money to inflation, right? It's like, how could all these young people just make millions like in a couple of years? And it's like, you could still join the party, guys. Don't be a hater.
Speaking of inflation, I just read an article today, and I'm going to send it to you. And it's so enraging because it talks about how corporations have taken advantage of this inflation narrative, which is, inflation is obviously is very real, but they've taken it and used it as an excuse to raise prices when they didn't even need to. And so their profits are at an all-time high. How disgusting is that? I mean, that's so gross. Like taking a bad situation and just taking advantage of it more to make more money.
It's awful. Yeah.
Karma.
Just follow the money. If you want to know where all the corruption is, it's just greed, corporate greed. And these 3-letter agencies are kind of just corporations at the end of the day. All these people just want to get paid. They just want to get rich and look important. And, you know, protecting investors is just the biggest joke, I think.
I know, it really is. It really is. We should make a meme.
I should make a hat that says protecting investors or something. Sell it in my merch, my YouTube merch.
You should. Protecting the people.
Yeah.
This system, wait, does it? Oh, wait, chat. Oh, I didn't push on chat. I'm like, I can't see the chat. I had to push on. Oh, I didn't know. This is a different system.
Melon app. Yeah.
Oh,
kind of like StreamYard, but it's a little different.
Yeah, I like this system though. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always have so many people. It's so crazy.
Yeah, 420.
420? Oh, wow. Okay. This is a really important question. So not last time, the first time we streamed, we talked about the fact that when HEX hits $1, is it? You're going to get a tattoo.
A tattoo?
You decided that's going to happen this year. That's going to happen.
Right? It might not be this year. It might be next year. It might be 2025, but I'm going to live stream it. I'm going to get the tattoo. You know, a lot of people already have HEX tattoos. So I'm not even like the first one at all. I'm like number 20. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe this arm, because I've already got this forearm, so maybe I'll
Okay. So you're gonna do the other arm?
maybe,
It's gonna be a hex. You're gonna be a hex logo?
Yeah, just simple hex logo, probably black and white gradient, because I've heard color, you know, when it comes to tattoos, you need to get it touched up a little bit more. I just want to set it and forget it, just like my steaks. My tattoo, I think right here, I mean, unless people have a better idea, you know, don't say my ass. That's not happening. But we'll see. We'll see. I've got a tattoo artist.
Maybe I'll get a tattoo.
You should.
At $2.
Oh, okay. All right.
That could happen. According to Axis, it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, it really could. It really could.
Yeah. He's been doing really, really great content, by the way. I've been watching him. Like, I watch him every time he goes on. I watch him. He's great. He's been over to my place in Chicago. We last time we live streamed, we were just on the same side of the screen. It was interesting. You know. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Wait, can you talk about your upcoming travel, or do you not talk about it? Well, I mean, I'll talk about it. Yeah, I won't tell people when I'm traveling, but yeah, I'll be in London, and I'll be in well, I'm going, you know, Barcelona and London. It's gonna be fun. That's just a little Euro trip. You're coming just right after the coronation. Then never mind. We don't know. When is the coronation? Okay. Sorry. It's all good. That. It's all good. Yeah. I don't know. And no one's even paying attention to this. No one even knows what it doesn't even matter. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Yeah, looking forward to it. You know, Hex gives you that financial freedom, so I can literally anywhere with a laptop. I'm good. You know, I can run my business all remotely, be a digital nomad. This is the life I always wanted. You know, it's super great just to have that ability. And you're living the dream. I mean, there's no question about that. You're just you have your own schedule. You do what you want. You know, you work, but you do what you're passionate about, something you believe in. You're, you know, for a cause, not just. Yeah, and it doesn't feel like work. It really is true. I always thought that was so cheesy. They're like, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But no, like I found something I love doing. It has more to do with, and that's not to say I get up and I'm like, I'm going to go make a video today. It still takes effort to like get off my ass and actually do some work. But it's much more easier to do with a sense of purpose behind it. You know, a lot of people, they work these 9-to-5s for large corporations and they're just a cog in a machine. And it's like, that's not fulfilling for a lot of people. So it's really not. It's not. I mean, there are parts, but like I like some parts of my job, but at the end of the day, what you do is different though. It's pretty cool. Like, are you able to say what you do, or do you not? Yeah, I run a buying team for a big fashion company. So. But what about what's next on the agenda? Or you can't talk about that? Yeah, no, I can't say that. Okay. Well, my next gig is cool. Yeah, big things coming up for here, guys. My next gig is cool. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. But it's but yeah, it's you don't want to jinx it by talking about it too early. I definitely can't talk about it. Kinetics. I can't talk about it, Kinetics. He always says that. People always joke about him. Is he in the chat? Where's Kinetics? He's in the chat. He's in the chat. Kinetics, what's up, dude? I'm just now seeing the chat, so I'm not said hi. He's telling me I need little coffees running around. Oh my God. Damn, dude, I don't know if I'm ready. I still feel like a kid. I can't be no, I'd be a good dad. But yeah, but you should have some fun. Give me a few more years, Kinetics. Come on. You're young. you need to have some fun. You need to just. I'm young, but I'm not that. You know, I'm getting to that point. I'm about to be 30. So. You're old. Hey, we're all gonna live till 200 anyway. You know, with longevity and all that. Longevity. I actually am really into longevity. I was going to do a video pretty soon about my whole supplement regimen because I feel great. You know, even after a night of drinking, I take these supplements and it's really cutting edge stuff. You know, do you follow David Sinclair at all? I do. He's well, he's like the #1 longevity researcher, right? So I try to just, you know, pay attention to what he takes and stuff like NMN, NAC, all these brand new chemicals are coming out. Not chemicals, but supplements rather. And they really do slow down the aging process. So, I mean, we could literally be one of the first generations that lives till 120, 150, you know, and healthily too, because it's about your health span, not your lifespan, but how long you could stay active and alive. So yeah, that's also another interest of mine that I don't really talk about too much. That's incredible. You should talk about that more. People would
Yeah.
be, everybody wants to live healthier and longer
That
and
goes hand in
better.
hand because with HEX, it's all about time itself, you know? So we need to be able to survive till our stakes mature. It really does. It gives people a lot more to live for, right? If you got a 10-year stake and, you know, you're throwing your life away drinking and doing drugs every day, you might want to think twice. And HEX might make you kind of change your behavior. I've already heard testimonials of people talking about how it got them out of a very, very dark place. So yeah, when you have something to look forward to, you know, life is just better.
I think it's absolutely critical because your quality of life, no matter how much money you have, if you're ill, you could have billions of dollars. Who cares? You feel miserable and you're sick, you know, and your health is worth so much. So I think it's really great. And I think it'll be really cool if you start to talk about that on stream. It gives a whole nother layer to what you're messaging and what you're teaching people.
For sure. For sure. That'll be my video after I still need to make this video about dollar cost averaging. Basically, long story short, guys, did you know that if you just robotically put in $100, even at the very top of the market every week, and just didn't even think about it, just $100 recurring buy into HEX, even investing at the very top, you know, that's the most basic strategy of all time, right? You'd still be up like 50% on your money at today's prices. So, you know, people, and I'm going to show you the math to prove it in this next video, but basically it's just like even the simplest dollar cost average strategy going into HEX has created, you know, people are net positive basically after that. The only people that really lost are the people that just bought high, sold low, and scared themselves out. So
you should maybe do a wallet where you show DCAing, maybe not $100 a week, but just, and when people see that, then they really,
you're absolutely right, but I just feel too weird about showing personal finances. Some people are more comfortable with it, you know. Some people are like,
no, you can give it away. You can do like a certain amount of money and give it away, like another wallet.
Yeah, perhaps. That'd be really generous of me, wouldn't it?
It's an idea. People love to see that kind of thing. You're like, okay, no. You're like, I'll do the longevity, but I won't do that. Okay.
Giveaways are great, but you know, it's
you can give away my microphone because it's a really nice microphone, and I can't return it. So you can give that away to somebody because the thing is, it's really nice. I'm not using it. So.
Sounds good. Ian says, any Chicago Hexicans out there? Yeah, I'm right here, bud. Right here.
It's interesting, these names in the chat. Like a lot of people I know, but a lot of them I don't, which is great. It means that there's new people, a lot of new people in the system. We'll organize something when you're in London, and I'm telling you, you're gonna be shocked at how many faces you don't recognize and who know you.
Great. I'll sign autographs, guys. Don't worry.
So hopefully you'll be getting a tattoo because that means
yeah, exactly. Thanks for making me feel like a celebrity, even though I'm just a little niche guy over here. But yeah.
Yeah, but you think about it. If I were, let's say, for example, you know, worked at a watch company, right? Or like had a watch brand that was, you know, I would pay you a lot of money to wear and talk about my watch just because of who you're speaking with. You know,
good point.
Who love watches, who can afford the watches, who can afford multiples, you know? So it's a very focused, a very desirable audience in that way. And I've always said that to Richard, that like there's ways that we can leverage like these companies for visibility, but then also use it to, you know.
Yeah. Well, you had a big part in setting up a couple of those things behind the scenes. I think like at least I know Richard's diamond encrusted suit was kind of your thing, right? At the HEX second birthday party.
No, he bought that. He bought that. But yeah, we, you know, I've worked with him a little bit on his styling and stuff like that. So, but he loves Swarovski crystal suit, and I know he really wanted one, but I doubt he's going to want one anymore because of his new image.
Oh, right. Humble mode. Humble Richard wouldn't wear that.
See how he dresses. I'm really fascinated to see what he wears in the next stream.
Black V-neck is my guess. Or regular. Hey, thank you so much for the tip. Pierre Azid says coffee prefers to buy random people's groceries.
Yeah. That's true.
At least you know they're like eating and stuff. They're not just squandering, you know, wasting that money and all that. But you know, it's one of the things about giving away HEX and crypto in general is a lot of people just dump it the second you give it to them. So
yeah,
you know, giving away a stake might be a little bit different. You know, you could wrap a stake, give that away. But who knows? People might still shoot themselves in the foot and emergency end stake it and not realize. So yeah, giveaways are good and bad.
Yeah, that's true.
As we learned kind of the hard way.
Yeah, and also, yeah, there's weird people come out of the woodworks and you're like, oh, this is just not fun. Yeah.
Weird people begging or, you know, scamming, claiming they were the one that won. So
yeah, I've heard so many horror stories, but
Hexologist did one that was, you know, that was a
the
mess
wrong
too.
person, the fake person came forward.
Yeah,
right?
that's where the whole bunga bunga meme comes from because yeah, I think it was the guy, his name was Bunga Bunga, that claimed he was the winner. But
so nuts. Okay, so what's next for you? You're gonna continue to stream.
yeah,
You're
that's basically it.
traveling.
We're gonna keep pumping everybody's bags. Potentially moving to Puerto Rico. I'm serious about that. Yeah, 2024. So you might start to see more of me in a tropical island setting. That'll be fun. And you know, we're creating our own little Hexaco out there. There's already about 10 or 15 guys in Puerto Rico doing the Act 60 thing. So that's probably my next move in terms of real life stuff. But yeah, just gonna keep making content, keep trying to get better, and we'll see. We'll take it from there. What about you? I mean, what's your role going to be in the Hex ecosystem? More behind the scenes these days?
Yeah, I mean, behind the scenes, I like being a guest on stream. I'm going to be doing guest spots, I guess, for a little bit now because I like streaming. It's fun, and I know a lot of you guys, so it's like fun just to hang out. It's like
exactly.
Up
It's just like
what
hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, because I talk about crypto all the time. So I mean, there are
Yeah.
people I talk to on the phone all the time. So because it's
I
so
want to give you props too for not giving into the chilling effect. You know, we talk about with the SEC and all that. Some people were too scared to even come back or talk about Hex at all, and so you're a good role model for how not to give in to the fear. You know.
Yeah, I'm not going to give into it. So, and then I'm, you know, if I can help because I represent a different demographic and a different thing, you know, maybe help get the message to a different cross section of people, then I've done something that I could be proud of. You know?
I love that. That's a great spot to end it on. We've done an hour, guys. Everybody in the chat, all 420 of you. Thanks so much for coming. Subscribe.
Thanks. Nice to see everybody.
Go follow Crypto Stylist on Twitter. What are you doing? Get out there. Finn Bear wants me to go get someone pregnant, so I gotta go.
Okay, you better get rolling.
No. No little coffees yet. One day, guys. One day.
Okay.
All right. Peace out, guys.